Did Samsung just fix the most frustrating thing about its Edge phones? It sure looks like it. A new leak suggests the Galaxy S26 Edge is finally getting a serious battery upgrade, and not just a minor bump. We're talking about a jump to 4,400 mAh, up from the disappointing 3,900 mAh in the S25 Edge. That might not sound huge on paper, but in smartphone world, it's a game changer, especially when you consider how slim and sleek these Edge models are supposed to be. If you've been following the Galaxy S series lately, you'll know the S25 Edge didn't exactly make waves. In fact, a lot of people straight up questioned why it even existed. With its underwhelming specs and tiny battery, it seemed like Samsung was just filling out the lineup without really giving users a reason to care. The sales numbers reflected that. Not great. But with the S26 Edge, Samsung might have found its stride again. This battery upgrade changes the conversation. Suddenly, this phone isn't just a middle child sitting awkwardly between the base and Ultra models. It's starting to look like a genuinely balanced device, enough battery to last the day, without the bulk of an Ultra. Let's be real, in 2025, 3,900 mAh just doesn't cut it. We've got phones doing AI processing, 120Hz displays, constant app refreshes, GPS tracking, and who knows what else running in the background. Every milliamp hour matters, so when Samsung bumps the S26 Edge to 4,400 mAh, the same as the Galaxy Z Fold 7, that's a big deal. What's even more interesting is that Samsung seems to have pulled this off without switching to fancy new battery tech like silicon-based cells. That's surprising, because most of us assumed they'd need a major materials change to squeeze in more capacity without making the phone thicker. But apparently, they made it work with the existing tech. Maybe they redesigned the internals. Maybe they reworked the battery housing. Either way, this leak comes from a pretty reliable source, and if it holds true, it's a strong sign Samsung listened to the criticism. Now, just to put things in perspective, the Galaxy S26 Ultra is still sticking with its usual 5,000 mAh battery. That's expected. Samsung's been holding steady there for years. But 4,400 mAh in the Edge means the gap between the Ultra and Edge isn't as wide as it used to be, at least in terms of battery life. And honestly, that's great news if you're someone who wants a premium-feeling phone without the size and price tag of an Ultra. You'll get something thinner and easier to handle, but still capable of lasting through a full day of use. Maybe more if Samsung's software optimization keeps improving. What about the competition? Well, Apple's gearing up to launch the iPhone 17 Air, and rumors say it might only have a 2,800 mAh battery. Let that sink in. 2,800 in 2025. Apple's counting on AI-driven battery management in iOS 26 to make up the difference, but still, that's a tall order. No matter how clever your software is, physics wins eventually. A small battery can only do so much. So when you compare that with 4,400 mAh in the S26 Edge, and the fact that Samsung's not compromising on design, the Edge starts to look like a smart middle ground option. It's not just better than its predecessor, it's competitive again. And here's something worth thinking about. This could signal the return of the Edge as a real alternative to the Plus model. For a while, it seemed like Samsung was just rebranding models without giving them a proper identity. But with this battery upgrade, the Edge line might carve out its own niche for people who want flagship performance in a slightly sleeker body and don't want to give up endurance to get it. If you've been holding off because the S25 Edge felt like a letdown, the S26 Edge might be worth another look. Samsung didn't go overboard, but they fixed what mattered most, the battery. And in day-to-day use, that's what actually counts. Of course, it's still a leak for now, so we'll have to wait for official confirmation. But if this turns out to be accurate, then Samsung just made the S26 Edge a lot harder to ignore. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. See you in the next video. Take care.